Let's stop this already. No more fighting. Let's end this. This is a waste of lives. Each one of these Marines has a family waiting for them at home. This moment is one of the purest examples of heroism in the entirety of One Piece. In a world of devil fruit users, giants, swordsmen who can cut mountains, cyborgs, and a middle name that immediately makes you relevant to the plot, Koby stands alone as a nobody who made himself into a somebody out of pure dedication. Everyone forgets that before Nami, before Sanji, before even Zoro, the first companion that Monkey D. Luffy ever made was Koby. The biggest thing that anyone talks about regarding Koby is how he went from looking like this to looking like this over the course of the series. While Luffy was aiming to succeed Roger as the next king of the pirates, Koby was looking to succeed Garp as the next hero of the Marines. The problem with Koby's dream is that it was corrupted by something that the world government is very good at spreading: propaganda. While Koby did grow up physically from a shrimp to an absolute unit, which is incredibly impressive, I believe that his true glow up was in his perspective of the world. At every stage of Koby's growth in his physical strength, Koby learned to accept more and more uncomfortable truths about the reality of his dream. The reason that this Koby and this Koby look like completely different characters is because they are completely different from each other. The one on the left is a naive, weak child who was fully indoctrinated into the world government's propaganda. The one on the right has been fully exposed to the reality of the world and grows strong enough to protect and change that world. And the first step that the wimpy Koby takes to become the Chad Koby was meeting Monkey D. Luffy. Koby began the story with a very black and white, Marines are good and pirates are bad mentality. The government has created a rose-tinted narrative that Marines are the pinnacle of righteousness and heroism who protected the world from evil pirates, so that's what Koby dreamt of being. The time he spent on Alvida's ship cemented this belief in him that pirates are nothing but evil, only to have this perception flipped on its head when an eldritch god wearing a straw hat pops out of a barrel demanding food. After the necessary donations were made to the Luffy Liberation Fund, Koby was freed from Alvida's ship. Luffy showed him that pirates are capable of being righteous heroes, which goes against everything he has been led to believe for his entire life. Koby then meets Axe-Hand Morgan, who also challenges his indoctrination by being the exact opposite of the righteous Marine that Koby dreamt of becoming. He was narcissistic, cruel, and tyrannical to the people of Shell's Town. This quote-unquote heroic Marine was behaving exactly like Alvida, the pirate who tormented him for all of those years. Despite having his preconceived notions of the Marines shattered by Morgan, Koby still held on to his own sense of justice. Every important Marine figure has their own idea of what justice means. Akainu holds on to absolute or thorough justice. Aokichi has his lazy justice, and Kizaru goes with the flow with his unclear justice. Koby's sense of justice is very close to Fujitora's idea of justice, known as humane justice. This sense of justice means prioritizing the lives of innocent civilians over your own and over the mission. This is what a quote-unquote true Marine is to Koby. Someone who always chooses to do the right thing and save people. This idea of a true Marine is also shared by another important figure of the Marines and someone that would become Koby's most important influence, Monkey D. Garp. From the moment that Koby was taken in by Garp, his life became a training arc. Garp simultaneously became his personal hero and his personal nightmare with how brutal his training process was. However, despite all of the pain, all of the exhaustion, all of the fists of love he received from Garp, Koby kept clawing his way to the top. Again, to Koby, justice means keeping innocent people safe from harm, and you can't do that when you're too short to ride a roller coaster and weigh 90 pounds soaking wet. What's admirable about Koby's training arc is that you genuinely see how much time and effort goes into his growth. The boy had no devil fruit or cybernetic enhancements or special bloodline. He is as human as you or I and achieved inhuman feats through determination alone. I would argue that Koby trains even harder than Zoro does. I mean, Zoro at least slept. Koby devoted his entire existence to getting yoked. He spent his spare time hitting battleships like they were punching bags, something that only Garp and Kuzan were crazy enough to do. He even mastered some Rokushiki techniques, which are something that Sanji didn't even master until after the time skip. My favorite aspect of Koby's physical development is that even after gaining a foot in height and beginning his transition into a hunk, he was still completely outmatched by his old friend Luffy when they met again at Water 7. The cavernous gap in their strength highlights the importance between physical training and lived experience. After Luffy parted ways with Koby in Shell's Town, he had to fight a shark, a crocodile, Eminem, and the elite special forces of the world government, as well as the future king of the pirates. Hashtag always bet on Buggy. While Koby had a massive physical improvement, he was still mentally stuck at Shell's Town. He believed that Morgan was just one corrupt marine and still had faith that the admirals were the arbiters of morality and heroism. Koby was determined and strong, but he had yet to fully experience the world and all of its dangers. Garp's training was painful, but his life was never in danger. And then, everything changed when the Whitebeard pirates attacked. For the entirety of the Marineford arc, whenever I saw Koby, all I could think was, oh, he is so not ready for this. Koby's presence at Marineford teaches us that there are no winners in a war and how truly terrifying something like this can be for a young, naive soldier. There's a great scene in the anime that highlights this where Koby meets a vice admiral he admired and says that he's incredibly strong, only to trip over his lifeless body a few moments later after the war begins. After seeing all of the carnage immediately unfolding, all of Koby's determination to be a great marine was swallowed up by his fear. This was the reality of being a marine and Koby couldn't handle it. Self-preservation took over and Koby ran away, only to come across Admiral Akainu disciplining another marine trying to do the same thing. This is like the Morgan situation amped up to 1,000. The admiral he spent so long aspiring to be was taking out one of his own men and causing more pain and misery than any pirate he's ever met. This was a life experience that Koby needed to have to further push him mentally towards the truth that more often than not, the world government will destroy more than they will save. Once again, Koby is staring reality right in the face and has to accept the fact that even the admirals aren't heroes. They are dogs of the military sent to spread destruction. And if Admiral Akainu's cold-hearted treatment of deserters didn't teach him to face the music, getting one-shot by Luffy a few moments later most certainly would. Koby needed to experience this pain. He needed this lesson drilled into his head that in order to become stronger, he needed to face the darkest parts of the world, accept it, and grow stronger despite it. After witnessing so much loss of life, after seeing the admirals he dreamt of becoming gleefully breaking the Geneva Conventions, after being humbled for the third time by Luffy, Koby awakened his observation haki at the worst possible time. Koby's desire to preserve the lives of others immediately conflicts with his position as a Marine officer. He thought that being a Marine meant that you just had to beat the bad guys and send them to prison. Marineford taught Koby the bloody truth of what it meant to be a Marine. You are a disposable pawn that can easily be replaced by another disposable pawn, and you are all tasked with annihilating anything the government says is evil. This contradicts with Koby's desire to save others, because how can you be a hero when there's no one left to save? Koby's realization of the horrors of war coincides with the awakening of his observation haki to create the perfect storm of trauma. The people that Koby wanted to save and even the enemies around him that no longer wanted to fight were all screaming out in pain, and it was hitting Koby all at once in surround sound inside his mind. The overwhelming amount of pain drove Koby to do one of the most heroic things he has done in his entire life. He decided to end the war. Of course, it was Shanks who physically ended the war with his presence, but it was Koby who made the grand declaration that the war was no longer worth fighting after Ace was gone. Koby saw the worst parts of the Marines. He experienced the pain of everyone on the battlefield and still held on to his morals and tried to save as many lives as he could. He stood in front of the admiral who he knows executes deserters and screamed in his face that they should stop fighting. Koby challenged Akainu's absolute justice with his own humane justice, and in the end, Koby's sense of justice won out. He took it upon himself to voice what everyone wanted, which was an end to the bloodshed, and put his own life on the line for a chance to save everyone left alive on the battlefield. This was a defining moment in Koby's glow-up. He overcame his cowardice by standing up to the most terrifying guy there. He overcame his naivete by challenging the horrors of the war. He even saved Luffy by distracting Kizaru with his speech long enough for Law's ship to escape. This was the lived experience that Koby needed to truly grow as a person. He was finally ready to earn his title of hero. After being exposed to the atrocities of the world government and the Marines, Koby still chose to be a Marine. Unlike Kuzan, who walked away from the Marines to follow his own sense of justice, Koby's justice motivated him to stay with the Marines and spark change from within. He knew that even though the Marines were capable of horrible things, they can still become a force for good. Koby stared into the abyss and didn't blink. When we pick back up with Koby after the time skip, we see that his appearance externally has finally matched who he is on the inside. The larger, more muscular frame and broad shoulders that post-time skip Koby has highlights the strength that he was able to gain now that he is unburdened by his naivete and cowardice. Koby has fully committed himself to being the hero of the Marines and proves it to us by immediately saving the Dressrosa monarchs from an incoming pirate torpedo. We don't know much about what Koby does throughout the time skip, but we do know one major event he was involved in known as the Rocky Port incident. Oda has not revealed much information about the exact details of what happened there, but we do know that Blackbeard, Law, and Koby were all fighting a member of the former Rocks Pirates, the crew that Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom were a part of before they became emperors. The incident resulted in Law becoming a warlord, Blackbeard gaining control of the island of Hachinoso, and gave Koby the title of hero because he protected the citizens during the battle. Koby continued to uphold the title of hero during the encounter on Amazon Lily. After Blackbeard defeated his men, Koby offered himself up in exchange for Blackbeard to not take his crew and just take him instead. Even during the battle with Hancock, Koby would try his hardest to reach a diplomatic and peaceful solution to avoid conflict because that is just who he is. It should also be noted that during the time skip, Koby earned the title of captain and joined a secret subsection of the Marines known as SWORD. This organization is allowed to operate on their own and have the freedom to disobey any orders from the world government. Even though they are still Marines, the SWORD members act on their own free will and their own sense of justice, which is why it is the perfect place for our morally righteous Koby to be a part of. Most people would just use this automatic immunity to engage in some shady behavior, but Koby instead uses that freedom to save people even if it goes against orders. Once again, that is just who Koby is. Koby's capture predictably led to Garp's full-on assault on Blackbeard's base at Hachinoso. Even after he was freed, Koby rescued as many people as he could, continuing to uphold his mantle as the true hero of the Marines. The true power of Koby's glow-up was put on full display when he delivered his signature attack modeled after Garp's galaxy impact. Koby's fighting style was very much like Garp's. No devil fruits, no weapons, just good old-fashioned fists and hockey. His signature attack symbolically represents the entirety of who he is. Since the beginning, Koby has wanted to join the Marines to save people, to be a hero that protected others from harm, and to serve the world on the side of peace. The dream that Koby has after his glow-up is the same dream that he has had as a small wimpy kid on Alvida's ship. However, now Koby was a different person, someone with enough experience and bravery to carry out that dream. He dreams of being strong enough to save everyone and to lead the Marines into an era of truth and heroism. Koby's dream was steadfast, simple, pure, and sincere. This is why his attack speaks so much to his character. This is why Koby, the one true Marine, was able to deliver the honesty impact. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll catch you next time with some more lukewarm takes.